Ciao, everyone. Welcome to the Hardcore Italians podcast. We're going to be going over the Italian American news of the week. I'm your host and Hardcore Italians owner, Mike Cariosha. Let's get into it. Andiamo. So, if you haven't heard, there's a new shortstop of the New York Yankees by the name of Anthony Volpe. Probably don't have to say it just by the sound of his name, but he's an Italian American, and he just had his debut game on Thursday, March 30th. And we took a look at how he did. And I wanted to talk about him a bit because he's an Italian American playing shortstop for the New York Yankees. That's big shoes to fill. I mean, that's everyone's dream. And just to give some background on him, so how did he even get started on the Yankees? Well, the Yankees picked him up as a non-roster player during spring training, and he competed for the shortstop role against Oswald Peraza. And on March 26th, a few days before opening day, the Yankees announced that Volpe would be their starter. So just a couple things before talking about how he plays. A couple things that show his character and a little bit about his Italian background right off the bat is when he was in spring training, he had the number 77, but he wanted the number 11 on opening day. He wanted that to be his official number. But before the switch, he called Brett Gardner, who had the number before. He's an ex-outfielder for the Yankees, and he called him up and asked him for his permission to use the number. He didn't have to call him and ask him. That was just very courteous. Obviously, Brett doesn't play for the Yankees anymore. That was completely unnecessary. It just shows his class right off the bat. And Brett actually accepted. He said it was reported that Gardner gave Volpe his full approval and wished him the best with the new number. So both classy guys. That's how he got number 11. That's how he got his start on shortstop for the Yankees. But before we talk about his first game a little bit, I want to talk about his Italian-American background. He actually gave a speech about his Italian background at the Italian American Baseball Foundation a year ago. So just shows you a little bit about how much he cares to be Italian, right? So during this speech, he was actually very knowledgeable about his roots and his family history. He talked about his great-grandfather who was from Italy and how he raised 10 kids and how, basically the kid honors his Italian side for sure. He actually says pretty much word for word what we always say because, he was talking in his speech, which, by the way, it's on our blog. I highly recommend you listen to it. But during his speech, he talked about how, everyone's proud of him for being drafted to the Yankees. Well, he's proud of his family for just how they raised him and their sacrifices. And it's crazy. So he definitely honors that Italian sacrifice. You could definitely tell he's knowledgeable about his family history and he's proud of his roots. So that's really cool to see a proud Italian playing shortstop for the Yankees. And to talk about his opening day a little bit, he didn't do much with the bat, but he made some plays at shortstop. And also he got his first steal because he had a walk. And he looks insanely fast, like insanely fast. Something tells me he's going to be getting a lot of steals. And I think he's a good prospect. He even has a chance at winning Rookie of the Year, I would say. He's definitely, I know it's only one game, so don't quote me on it, but I definitely think that he has potential to be good in the MLB. And obviously the Yankees did too, because they don't put anyone at shortstop, I'd imagine. And so in other news, Italy banned ChatGPT for the entire country. Okay. So kind of shocking because it seems like if every other country is using ChatGPT and Italy's not, that they'll get caught behind. If you haven't heard of ChatGPT, it's artificial intelligence. It's basically a chat box. It's almost like a more improved Google. You could ask it anything and it'll spit back answers. And pretty big news that Italy banned it. So on one hand, it's a little surprising because Italy has an opportunity to advance with AI and advance the country and see, obviously there's a lot of growth potential, but on the other hand, it shows the seriousness of artificial intelligence and what it's capable of and what it could do if, even people who are on the forefront of AI, like Elon Musk, even warn about it and say there should be regulation. So, you know what I mean? It's encouraging to see more countries should be trying to regulate AI and doing something with it because you don't want it to go out of control and out of people's hands. It's going to be a disrupting technology. So it's very interesting to see Italy's approach on it. This news hit very recently, so there's not too much information why and what they're doing with it, but it is banned for sure. It is finalized that it has been banned. So as far as why Italy banned it, the government cited concerns that it could be used to spread false information, sway public opinion, or even carry out illegal activities. As more businesses switch to AI-powered chats instead of hiring human customer service agents, they're also worried about the possibility of job loss. So they're worried for jobs, they're worried about illegal activity, they're worried about politics. So yeah, we'll see their take. If Italy, how serious they treat AI going forward. Maybe they want to see more rules and regulations on it first before letting the country use it, but they're the first of anybody of anything that I've heard ban any related AI stuff. So it's pretty interesting outside of Italy that people are treating it seriously and they're trying to regulate it. So we'll see. It's kind of cool. Italy's like the first to take action on something like this. So something else we wanted to touch on, we want to remember the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire. It was on March 25th, 1911. So 112 years ago around this date, the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire happened. And it's big for Italian American history to know about this fire. Basically, labor laws back when Italians immigrated were terrible. They were really forced to work in terrible conditions and in life-threatening conditions. This factory was a very Italian American factory. There was a lot of Italian American women workers in this factory, and they were just thrown in brutal conditions. Part of the reason why this fire happened is they would lock the doors so people wouldn't have access to bathroom breaks during work. Like they would lock them in. And the conditions were just really bad for labor. In fact, there was a lot of pivotal stuff that came from this fire and just Italians did in general to protest after this and stuff to help, make better laws for labor force. But it's a very sad story because over 146 workers passed away and they were between the ages of 14 and 23. These women were earning $15 a week and they were working 12 hours a day. So I would highly recommend, please, if you can, check out the blog that we wrote about it. Our blogger Max did a beautiful job with this blog, and he actually listed out the 146 individuals who lost their lives that could have easily been spared for if there were proper safety precautions. So every person's name is listed. I think that's just awesome that he did that because these people deserve to see their name and have their name read. It's really tragic and it's crazy the labor laws and what Italian Americans had to deal with when they immigrated to the country. They were really just treated like shit. It was terrible. In the last news, I want to go over a little more positive news. The Italian Air Force has served the country over 100 years. So they celebrate their 100th anniversary. On March 28th, 1923, the Italian Air Force was formed, and it was Italy's first military aviation school. So to celebrate their 100th anniversary, they flew over Rome on March 28th. And if you've ever seen the Italian Air Force fly, they fly with the Italian colors shooting behind them. We'll pop up a picture for you to see. It's really cool to see. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube and people record on their phones and post to TikTok and things like that of the planes flying over. It's really cool. So congratulations to the Italian Air Force for their 100th anniversary. They've grown into a highly skilled and modern force equipped with the latest tools and technology. And you wouldn't want to mess with them, that's for sure. So that's all the news I have for you today. If you watched and you enjoyed, I please ask you leave a like, leave a comment, leave a 5-star review if you're on Apple. Drop a comment, let us know what you want us to talk about next. Also, if you want to support us, check out our Italy Slide Sandals drop. Those just came available this past weekend. I'm recording on Friday, March 31st. This is probably going to come out Sunday, but the release is in an hour. I'm super stoked to see how it does. Like I said, these slides, they sell like crazy. When we originally dropped them last year, we had 500 pairs. They sold out in under 24 hours. This year, we have 1,000-ish, and we already have 700 people that signed up for the notification when they're back. So it's going to be crazy. We'll see if it's going to be a tougher record to beat, but please support us by shopping the merch, buy some sandals. We got a new golf collection coming out. I'm not supposed to say it, but since you're listening to the podcast and you made it this far, you can get the inside scoop. It's going to be awesome. Guys, thank you again for tuning in. We'll see you on next week's episode. Thank you.